Billy the Kid is simply the most famous New Mexican who ever lived. It's not Oppenheimer, it's not Georgia O'Keeffe, it's not Geronimo, although he's right up there. No, it's Billy the Kid, and he's known worldwide.
From all corners of the globe, the name Billy the Kid is synonymous with the Old West and with New Mexico. He has become an icon of the new frontier, a Robin Hood who traded the arrow for a six-shooter.
He had many friends, and he spoke fluent Spanish. He was a ladies' man of the first rank. He loved dances, and the ladies loved it. And he moved easily in the Hispanic community. And so every sheep camp, was open to him. Every Hispanic home was open to him, and he had a lot of friends to take care of him. And this adds to that sort of Robin Hood mystique around him, because he's fighting for the small ranchers. He's fighting for the Hispanics. He's fighting for the little guy against the Santa Fe Ring and Lew Wallace and the railroads and the people that are determined, the big cattlemen like Chisholm, who are determined to put a lockdown on New Mexico and bring law and order.
What we know historically about the Kid is sparse and shrouded in mystery.
It's amazing that someone so famous is, there's so little known about him. In fact, we don't even know where he was born.
Paul Hutton is professor at the University of New Mexico and is regarded worldwide as one of the foremost scholars and authors on the Kid.
We do know that he came from Indiana via Kansas to New Mexico with his mother and brother, and we don't know if she was a widow or what the story is. Some say he was born in New York. There's no real evidence for that. Some say he was born in Indianapolis. He told a newspaper reporter he was born in Missouri, which, considering that he was always trying to cover his past, I don't think we need to worry about what he said. But from Santa Fe, where she married a miner named Antrim, they went to Silver City following the silver boom, and that's where Billy spent his childhood.
Billy's young and violent life centered on the Lincoln Cattle Wars, a murky and corrupt period of New Mexico history. Of all the legends surrounding the number of men Billy killed, he was only convicted of one, that of Sheriff Brady. In April of 1881, Billy was sentenced to hang for the murder, and it was in the Lincoln courthouse that Billy's legend was born.
Somehow he got a gun. We don't know how. He had asked to go down to the privy, and his deputy, Bell, had taken him out there. Perhaps someone had stashed a gun. That's one theory. Another theory is that as they came up this very narrow stairway to take Billy back to his room, and it wasn't really a jail. He was just chained to the floor in a room, and he had chains on. He had manacles on coming up the steps. Somehow he got his wrist. He had very narrow wrists and small hands. He got his wrist out of the manacles, swung them, hit Bell, took Bell's gun, killed Bell with his own gun. Then he rushed up. The other deputy was a man named Bob Ollinger, and he had gone across the street to the Wortley Hotel to get dinner for the other prisoners. Well, he came rushing back toward the courthouse, and Billy knew where he had left his shotgun, a shotgun in which Ollinger had taunted the Kid with over and over. And as Ollinger came across the street, he looked up into this corner window, and there was the Kid with Ollinger's own Whitney shotgun. And he said, "Hello, Bob." And someone from around the corner of the courthouse yelled, "The Kid's escaped, he's killed Bell." And Ollinger just said, "And he's killed me too," and Billy gave him both barrels.
From there, Billy hopped around various locales in New Mexico, finding his way to Pete Maxwell's home in Fort Sumner that July. On the night of the 14th, Billy's legend and fate were sealed at the hands of Sheriff Pat Garrett.
He's going to old Fort Sumner to see his girlfriend, and she is the sister of Maxwell, who owns what's left of the fort, and Billy's staying there at Pete Maxwell's place. Some say that Maxwell fingered him and told Garrett that he was coming because he didn't want Billy fooling around with his sister. And one story is that Billy was in fact in Maxwell's house, and Garrett simply kicked in the door and shot him dead. But that, of course, would be a scandalous story. And so they created the story of how Garrett was looking for the Kid and came on this moonbright night down Maxwell was in bed. He goes into the bedroom and he says, have you seen the kid? And suddenly Billy walks in to the room. Keenest, he says, because there were 2 deputies outside that had seen. Garrett fires 2 shots into the dark. The kid's dead.
While the life of Billy the Kid ended that sweltering night in 1881, his legend was just beginning.
So he's a 20th century creation, and he's the result of a book written by a Chicago newspaper man, Walter Noble Burns, called The Saga of Billy the Kid. Became a huge bestseller and inspired a King Vidor motion picture starring Johnny McBrown.
Before I die, I'm gonna shoot down like a dog every man that had anything to do with this.
And from that then began the sort of media sensation that was Billy.
The silver screen was just one of the many mediums in which the outlaw would live on. Countless books, paintings, and works of the stage have all kept the legend alive. But why? Why are we so fascinated with the kid?
He really is the outlaw of our dreams. Every girl wants to be with him. Every boy wants to be just like him. He's sort of a combination of Peter Pan and Jesse James. I mean, he never grows up. He's always riding. He's always across that beautiful New Mexico landscape. He's always young, and he's always fighting for justice. And the real Billy the Kid did fight for justice. Now, it's a teenager's idea of what justice is, and it was Gunsmoke justice. But he played his string out right to the end. And that's what makes him such a towering figure of romance.